Welcome to Guangzhou, China, the great industrial and port city in southern China. Formerly known as Canton, it was the first part of China open to foreign trade, and most of China's early immigrants to the United States came from here. And tonight, it hosts the semifinal matches of the first FIFA Women's World Soccer Championships. From Guangzhou, China, it's the FIFA Women's World Championship for the M&M's Cup. The United States in the semi-final round of the competition against Germany. Today's game is presented by Mohr's Milky Way Bar. Enjoy the smooth chocolate and caramel taste of the original smoothie. And brought to you by American Airlines, the airline that is proud to be selected the official carrier of the United States World Cup team. American Airlines, something special in the air. And by Sprint. Sprint has a better way for all your telecommunication needs. Hello again, everyone. I'm Randy Hahn, and welcome to our continuing coverage of the first ever Women's World Championships for soccer from here in China on Sports Channel America. The United States is in the Final Four. They got here by virtue of a very impressive quarterfinal victory over Taiwan by a score of 7-0. They are undefeated, a perfect 4-0 heading into this game here today. With me once again is Rick Davis. And Rick, if things got interesting in the quarterfinals, it gets real tense now here. We're down to the Final Four.
Randy, this is really where it's all happens for the girls. As far as they're concerned, they're in the semifinals. They can be the only team for the United States that's ever gone into a final competition in the sport of soccer.
Rick, in your mind, what's made the United States team so competitive through their first games?
Randy, I think it's a number of things, but certainly the attack has been where they've been the most productive. They've got 4 players that have been just outstanding in that regard. And as far as Anson Dorrance, the coach, is concerned, he's got them all. Shannon Higgins, Michelle Akers-Stahl, April Heinrichs, Carin Jennings. They're going to have to be putting that ball in the goal if this team's going to advance through this game.
In a nutshell, what do the Germans bring to this game? What kind of problems do they pose for the United States?
Basically, I think it's experience. They come here having a competitive league that they play in year-round. They come here having been in a competition before. They won the European Championship back in 1989. They're coming here to try and nail down a world championship, and if they can do that, I'm sure they'll be pleased.
So it's the United States against Germany, with the winner of this game to play Norway for the championship of the world in women's soccer. And we'll be back with lineups and the opening kickoff from Guangzhou in a moment. You're watching the Women's World Championships of Soccer on Sports Channel America.
The fascination always existed. The human body, without doubt, is the greatest of inventions. Flawless in design, capable of astonishing feats. Amazingly, the harder the body is worked, the stronger, more beautiful it becomes. To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer SoloFlex. 32 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance, all on a machine that fits in the corner of your home. SoloFlex, simple and efficient, like the body itself, which may explain why it looks less like a machine and more like a work of art. For a free brochure, call anytime.
This is it. 3 days and 2 nights at the Las Vegas Flamingo Hilton.
I know, just think of it. Stars, shows, and great food.
And you know it's really perfect?
It's free. What's free?
Our room. 2 nights accommodations free when you join Players Club. You know, you've seen it on TV.
Well, people pay full price, just don't understand the benefits of programs such as the Players Club.
And I tried to book it myself just to see what it was going to be. And then I called the Players Club, and I was amazed. It was like $150, $200 less.
You cannot beat the prices. You can't beat the discounts. You can't beat the service.
You want to go to Vegas, Atlantic City, or ride the Caribbean cruises? It's the card to have.
Okay, but 2 free nights?
Yep, when the club books your flights.
Great discounts, VIP treatment, and 2 free nights.
You got it.
New members get 2 free nights in their choice of Las Vegas or Atlantic City when the club books their flights. Call toll-free for free information. 1-800-841-0300. There's absolutely no obligation.
Randy Hunt and Rick Davis back in Guangzhou, China. There's the starting lineups for Germany. The other semifinalist here this evening, Isbert, number 1, will be the goalkeeper. And the one to particularly pay attention to, number 9, Heidi Mohr. She's the high-scoring forward for this German team that, like the United States, swept its opening round, 3 straight victories, and then one, of course, in the quarterfinals. And there's the United States lineup. Mary Harvey, number 1, will start in goal. And the big gun for the United States, number 10, Michelle Akers-Stahl. She is the leading goal scorer in this tournament with 8 goals through 4 games so far.
Randy, she's done such a great job for the U.S. team. She's the one player that they're going to certainly look to go forward and try and score some goals. But on the other end of it, they're going to be looking and relying a fair amount on Joy Bielefeld in terms of her abilities to be able to stop the big gun for the German team, that being Heidi Mohr.
You had a look at the referees there. The referees is from Chile, and there the United States team is huddling, and we are set to go. We are at Guangdong People's Stadium in Guangzhou, China. And you can see it's a beautiful field, excellent conditions here. Fans still arriving in the stadium. We expect a big, big crowd as the United States, now that China has been knocked out, Rick, has almost become the adopted team here.
Yeah, one of the things that we see with the fans here in China, which is somewhat unique, certainly different than we see in the United States, is that the fans here simply play for the team that plays the most attractive, attacking type of soccer. And the United States has filled that role, certainly in this tournament.
The United States wearing the blue jerseys, white shorts and blue socks, and they will defend the goal to our left. And there is Michelle Akers-Stahl. In the last game, the 7-0 victory over Taiwan, Michelle had 5 goals to lead the way for the United States. And from the kickoff, Germany taking it into the U.S. end. And now the Germans with it again. This is number 3, Ostermuhl. And this will be cleared away by Worden for the United States. And we will get a throw-in for Germany.
Randy, the German team has shown their colors right from the word go here. Typically, the beginning of a game is kind of a feeling out of the other team. Right from the kickoff, they went forward and went on the attack, and I think they're trying to let the United States team know that they're not going to sit back and try and defend against them.
This is Ostermuhl, and she sends a long ball up the wing, trying to reach number 13, Roswitha Bindel. But that'll go out, and we'll have a goal kick for the United States. Mary Harvey in goal. You see her there to the right of the ball. She's from Los Altos Hills in California, 26 years of age. And we'll get a chance to talk a little bit more about her and the comeback she's made just to be with the team here at the World Championships in China. A foul in midfield. They will call it against Bindel. And the free kick now for the United States as Shannon Higgins, really the spark plug and the energizer of the midfield for the United States, will put it into play. And she plays a short ball back to Joy Bielefeld. Bielefeld ahead. This is taken by Carin Jennings, one of the other big scoring threats for the United States. Jennings and Akers-Stahl really representing, Rick Davis, the chunk of the offense that Germany has to be most concerned about tonight.
Michelle certainly on the scoring end. She leads the team in goals. She has scored 8 in this tournament. On the other hand, Carin has not only scored a number of goals, 3, she's also assisted on 4. So she is very, very valuable to the U.S. team.
All played into midfield. And Germany working it to the near side, but it's taken away. This is Mia Hamm, and the offside flag comes up as Mia was working her way down the wing.
Yeah, actually, Randy, the ball had gone out of bounds. The linesman had signaled the ball crossing the sideline there. The rule being that once the ball rolls over the line completely so that the entire ball is off of the field of play, it's considered out of bounds and results in a throw-in for the German team.
So it will be Wiegmann throwing it in for Germany. We are scoreless and very early here in Guangzhou, China. The winner of this goes to the World Championship. Battle for it in the midfield, and the whistle blows, and a foul against the United States. Rick, early impressions on the way things have unfolded here?
Well, so far, it's still very much an early part of the game where the teams are feeling each other out. A couple of sloppy mistakes, a couple of bad passes, as one we just saw there. The teams are really just trying to get their game legs underneath them. They're trying to get themselves into the flow of the game, and typically that takes 5-10 minutes along the way.
Battle in the midfield as Akers-Stahl ran to the ball. But this will be another foul against the United States, and everyone moves a few yards back as the Germans will put it into play. You hear the crowd starting to get vocal, although the Chinese people themselves not all that vocal. However, a number of German fans have traveled here, not to mention a number from the United States.
And I think that we're going to end up hearing certainly a lot from both factions that are here. Earlier on, as the teams came out for the warm-ups, you heard two distinguishable loud roars, one chanting USA, the other one Alemania or Germany.
Many of those Americans are parents of the players who have traveled here to China en masse to support their daughters in this World Championship. Nice to see. Here's a chance for the United States. This is Mia Hamm crossing it back through the middle. She was looking for Michelle Akers-Stahl, who had some trouble there in the 18-yard box. She slipped and brought up some of the turf in there, and I'm wondering if maybe it's a little bit damp, as Michelle had some problem with her footing there. Meantime, Germany will get possession back. Good job by Mia Hamm on the near side, winning the ball back. And now April Heinrichs for the United States. Up to Akers-Stahl. Michelle from Florida. And what a goal scorer she has been in her career for the United States. Here comes Akers-Stahl. Michelle Akers-Stahl to the 18-yard line. Cutting it back in the middle. Shot wide. And it will be a goal kick for the United States. Number 11, Julie Foudy with the shot and just missing.
And Brady, what a great combination of passes there. We ended up seeing the pass start from number 2. April Heinrichs, who ended up then playing the ball in the middle to Carin Jennings, who continued the pass on.
Julie Foudy taking that shot. She's from Mission Viejo, California, and that's the first opportunity we've seen for either side so far in the game.
And that type of play very important to the United States team because they have to link a number of passes together. They're a very skillful team. They end up working the ball up through the midfield and attacking parts of the field rather than playing it long and high and over. And that was a great opportunity for them that resulted in just that type of play.
Some good action in the midfield here as the United States attempts to penetrate, but Germany playing some tough defense. Defeld back for the United States, but it will be cleared back to Carla Worden. One thing we should point out, Rick, the only difference between this and a men's World Championship caliber game would be the length of time of the halves, 40 minutes instead of 45.
That's right, and they also, if the game should end up in a tie, only end up playing 10 minutes, 2 times 10 minutes of overtime versus the men who end up playing 2 by 15.
Number 8 for Germany, Wiegmann, played up the right side, and this one looks as if it will roll out, and indeed it does, and a throw-in coming here for the United States. The U.S. in the first round beat Sweden 3-2, shut out Brazil 5-0, then beat Japan 3-0. They had already qualified for the quarterfinals after their first 2 victories, and then in the quarterfinal, they absolutely destroyed Taiwan by a score of 7-0 as the ball goes out again. And one of the advantages that Anson Dorrance has had, Rick Davis, is that because of the early qualification after 2 victories, he was able to rest some people, and the United States is probably the most prepared of any of the 4 teams in the semifinals.
But Randy, that's a little bit of a mixed blessing. It's great because the girls have had an opportunity to rest, but at the same time, it's difficult to build continuity, to develop a chemistry amongst your team because you have a number of players that not only need the rest, but are being held out because of some slight bumps, slight injuries, and therefore it makes it difficult for the team to unify. On the opposite side of that, Germany has had 4 difficult games, so maybe they aren't as well rested, but nonetheless, they're I think, far better ahead in terms of the chemistry aspect of it.
Joy Biefeld playing it up into the middle. Taken away, back comes Germany. On the attack, this is Bindel. Bindel playing it to the middle, and a good defensive job there by Hamilton to play it back into the hands of Mary Harvey. Linda Hamilton just getting back and clearing that ball. There you see Heidi Mohr, 24 years old, the outstanding striker for Germany. Heidi so far in the tournament with 6 goals. Carin Jennings now playing it to Akers-Stahl. That is such a lethal twosome. This time Akers-Stahl taking a shot that goes off the leg of the midfielder, and it's controlled by the German goalkeeper Isbert.
And even though that pass, little combination there of a quick wall pass didn't work, the 2 of them, I think, are going to be a pair that Germany's going to have to be concerned about all game long. They end up linking up so well with each other, and they're so complementary to each other. April ends up scoring, or excuse me, Michelle ends up scoring so many of the goals, and Carin ends up playing the creative part of it.
Marcelo Worden going up in the air to head this one forward, but it's taken back by Germany. Good look at the intensity with which this early part of the game is being played. April Heinrichs now, lead ball for Mia Hamm, a little too far. She's then sandwiched by that big bruising German defense, and we will take a break. There's no score here in the first half. It's the United States and Germany on Sports Channel America. Randy Hahn and Rick Davis, welcome back to Guangzhou, China, the People's Stadium here, right in the heart of this very, very unique city in this country of, and it's still hard to believe, 1.2 billion people, and a good chunk of them live right here, Rick.
I think a large chunk of them live right here. Driving around town before the game, it is just packed with people. It seems like there's no space.
Still people arriving at the game here, as it was really the talk of this town for the past month, as they have truly embraced this first ever Women's World Championship. A World Championship that is scheduled to be held again in another 4 years, as it seems this will now become a permanent fixture. Here's a chance for Carin Jennings. Jennings with the loose ball in the penalty area. In on goal, she scores! Carin Jennings puts the United States in the lead.
You consider the different aspects for how goals are scored in this game. This all starts with a sloppy defensive play. Carin Jennings totally composed as the ball drops to her feet. She slots the ball in the right-hand corner of the goal. Here we get to see the poor defensive clearance by the defender for the German team. Carin Jennings very calmly, very composed, waits for that opportunity to shoot and slots the ball in the goal to put the United States ahead.
Christine Hall, the German defender back there, who had all kinds of problems with Carin Jennings, and no wonder. That is her 23rd goal in this, her 50th game internationally for the United States, as Carin Jennings gets on the board in the 9th minute, 9:26 time of the goal here in the first half, and the United States leading Germany now by a score of 1-0. And that is what Anson Dorrance wanted, Rick Davis. He wanted this team to get off to an early start, to set the tone of this game, and now he can possibly get the Germans out of their tactics.
Absolutely, no question about getting yourself ahead in any kind of a competition. In this particular case, both of these teams have shown that they can score goals, but at the same time, they haven't given up many. So you end up getting yourself a goal. It gives your team confidence. It ends up changing the aspect of how you approach the game. And now we'll see if the United States team can keep the pressure going and end up getting that one going ahead.
They said that was Anson Dorrance. That was actually Tony DeChico, the goalkeeping coach. And hopefully the Chinese production people here will get that straightened around. But we will refer to Anson when we see him. He's wearing a suit or a coat and tie on the bench, and maybe that's where the confusion was. DeChico dressed in the USA sweatsuit. Either way, it's 1-0. And I'm sure Anson won't be too terribly disappointed that he was misidentified there. His team is off to the start that he had hoped for. And now they have the ball on a turnover in the midfield again, but we have an American player down on the far side of the field. Play goes on with the U.S. in possession. One would think they would halt play here, and we are going to have a ball kicked out of play intentionally, as going after it was April Heinrichs. She almost injured herself again, and it is Michelle Akers-Stahl down on the far side of the field at the edge of the 18-yard box who is injured for the United States, and what a blow this would be if Michelle had to come out of the game. While they look at Michelle Akers-Stahl, we will pause. It's the USA 1, Germany 0. We'll be back in Guangzhou in a moment.
Equipment, a new line of performance footwear.
I have a confession. I have no idea how to choose a long-distance calling plan. I don't have to. Sprint does it for me. They keep track of when and where I call and actually let me know which calling plan will save me the most money. They do all that just because I'm a Sprint Priority customer. And I thought it was because I was their spokesperson.
get a look at Michelle Akers-Stahl down on the field at the far side. She is about 20 yards out from the goal, and I'm not sure what happened there, Rick, and perhaps we will get a replay as to what the injury is or how it might have occurred, but Michelle is getting up now, and that's a good sign.
Well, it's a good sign that she's getting up, Randy, but it's an even better sign, I think, that it doesn't look like it's one of her knees that she hurt. It looks like she either wrenched or twisted her ankle, and certainly that's concerning the United States team because of how important Michelle is, but her knees are what everybody is concerned with because she's had a number of problems over the years, in particular with her right knee.
You might wonder how important Michelle Akers-Stahl is. How about this important? This is her 50th game. She has 49 goals. She averages a goal a game in international play. Now the Germans moving it up the field as play is back underway, and Akers-Stahl stays on the field. Ball cleared out by the U.S. defense for a throw-in.
And Randy, to make a comparison in terms of how significant that is, 49 goals in essence 49 games, with this one being her 50th. The closest person to her on the men's side of things is Bruce Murray, who is our leading goal scorer. He's played in approximately 66 full international games and has 16 goals.
Bruce thanks you for that, by the way, Rick.
Oh, it's actually a marvelous accomplishment. Bruce was the guy that ended up kind of bumping me off that pedestal in terms of leading the national team in goals scored.
Truly a remarkable player. Here's a chance for the Germans now, but getting back and playing some good defense is Carla Worden. She is really going to be anchoring the defense for the United States all day long today, as she has all year long in this truly remarkable season for the U.S. women. Here's Akers-Stahl. We'll see how she comes back. A nice ball played up front for Heinrichs. April showing her speed, almost getting to that, but it is cleared back to Isbert by Ostermuhl as the Germans are somewhat unsettled here in the first half after the early goal by Carin Jennings that has put the United States in the lead 1-0.
Randy, the different dimensions that the United States team have going for them. On that particular play, it was a long-ranging pass that almost sent one of the United States players through, in contrast to playing the ball short and quick and developing the attack, working the ball through the midfield, which ended up resulting in a number of other opportunities that they've had already.
Now Ostermuhl a little shaken up as she gets up slowly. Birgit Ostermuhl, 26 years of age. She's an office clerk back in Germany. These German players are all part of a full-time German league, or actually a regular league. They play every Sunday morning, which is more than the American women have, most of them. They don't have a regular league to play in, but it is not a professional league. They all have regular jobs, and it is a situation where they train all week for one game a week. And, of course, you're seeing the premier German players from that league here in this game against the United States. United States with the ball, shot from long distance, just wide off the foot of Julie Foudy. And Julie let that one go from about 23 yards out and gave Isbert, the German goalkeeper, a little bit of trouble. There's a look at Julie as she strides back. This shot had something on it, Rick.
Had something on it, and although it doesn't look so close from that particular angle, that ball just missed the back post, back corner of the goal by inches. Great example of taking a shot from a long distance away. All it has to do is find itself in a corner. So difficult for a goalkeeper to save. There, certainly Julie was using the instep part of her shoe and drove the ball just wide of the goal.
Germans breaking forward again, but Joy Biefeld with the steal. And now it's Worden playing it up the middle. This is Foudy. She steps on it, is pushed down. Back comes Germany. Taken up the field by Heidi Mohr. She's more of the finisher than the playmaker. They want to try and get the ball to number 9. If they can, chances are she'll do some damage. As we mentioned, Heidi with 6 goals already in the tournament. She's got numbers, if not the same, comparable to those of Akers-Stahl. She has 33 goals now in 45 games played. So she's right up there in the goal scoring as well internationally. Here's Akers-Stahl running well. Michelle, a shot. She hits the post. Michelle Akers-Stahl blasts one from outside the 18-yard box. That was about 25 yards out, and that's how close it was. Bang!
What an absolute bomb here from about 20, 25 yards away. She just rips away at the ball. So unlucky off of the post. That's one of those where they say no payoff at the almost window.
Jennings pushing it back over the end line, and they will give corner kick here. I thought Jennings kicked it out, but it went off the defender last. So Carin, who has the only goal of the game so far, moves over to the corner flag, and we'll have our first corner kick opportunity for the United States. They lead it 1-0. We are in the first half at the People's Stadium in Guangzhou, China. It's coming into the middle of the box. Up goes Akers-Stahl, off the crossbar. And now a whistle, and I believe there was either a foul or an offside inside the penalty area. But that ball went right off the crossbar after Michel just hit the post.
Yeah, actually the call had happened prior to ball going off the crossbar here, where the ball's hung up in the air. Michel jumps up there and has the ball goal bound. Goalkeeper comes out, it's over her head, but the play had already been whistled dead at that point, so even had it gone into the goal, it would have been nullified.
After some scrambling play in the first 5 minutes, the United States is now dominating here in the first half. Both these teams are undefeated up to this point in the tournament as we're down to the final 4. Nice play in the midfield by Akers-Stahl to get the ball free. Now, Carin Jennings upended as she tries to dribble it upfield, and we'll have a free kick for the U.S.
Maybe the problem for the German team at this particular point is that they don't know who to stop. There are so many different players that are involved in the offensive aspect of the game for the United States. Carin Jennings making a nice run through. Only way to stop her in that particular case is to trip her, and a foul as a result of that. The problem is that there are so many players for the United States team that have the ability to attack, not only from shooting from far away, but also in terms of dribbling through, as we just saw Carin Jennings do. Germany really has to solidify their defense, or it's going to be a long night for them.
Akers-Stahl is maybe one of the best free kickers in the world, but she's a good bit out here. She'll let this one go nonetheless. A blast, and that just misses high. And a roar comes up from the crowd here in Guangzhou. It's 1-0. The United States leading Germany in the semifinal for the World Championship. We'll be right back.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, and Madrid. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan. As the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
If you spend over $20 a month on long distance, you deserve to be treated better. You deserve frequent caller awards and a special customer service number. You deserve a whole new level of special service. You deserve to be a Sprint priority customer. Is this just another clever way to get that other phone company's best customers? You bet it is.
Adidas Equipment, a new line of performance footwear.
So I'm doing my sound check.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I hear this woman's voice.
Crunch that last chord. I'll show you.
She grabbed the guitar.
And then she started rocking. No, I mean rocking.
You're pretty good.
Someone that hot deserves something this cold. Suddenly, I remember this was a butt spot.
I like your style.
Randy Hahn with Rick Davis back in Guangzhou. 1-0 the United States leading. We hope you're enjoying our continuing coverage of the first ever FIFA World Championship of Soccer on Sports Channel. Germany in the white, but the United States in the blue, creating all the trouble and drawing all the oohs and ahs from this usually reserved crowd here in Guangzhou. They are being entertained in the first half. The Germans moving forward, but that's cleared out of the top of the box. Now a shot from the midfield, and that will go wide, and the United States will get a goal kick. We saw Joy Biefeld playing some good stand-up defense there. Germany with one of their rare shots in this first half.
Andy, that shot from Franka Kuhlmann, she never really got a good piece of it. Ball never ended up getting far enough away from her body to be able to get sufficient power on it from that particular distance. And although it ended up being a shot, it really was not all that difficult, and certainly not much of a concern to Mary Harvey, the United States goalkeeper.
You saw some of the German fans there They hope to make it a clean sweep, as of course Germany is the defending World Cup champion after beating Argentina at Olympic Stadium in Rome in the final last summer. Or a year ago this past summer. Seems so short a time ago that we were all there, and now we're already talking about the next World Cup, which is coming up in 1994 in the United States.
Randy, a call you do not think you would see all that often at this particular level of the game. An illegal throw-in. One of the rules in soccer is that when you throw the ball in, not only do you have to throw it with two hands over your head, but you also have to keep both feet on the ground. And there the German player lifting one of her feet up as she threw the ball and turns the ball over to the United States team on the play.
Germans trying to make something happen here as it goes off Mia Hammond out. Going back in quickly now, but turned right back over again by Carla Worden. This is Ham. Mia working right along the sideline, gets it to Carin Jennings. Here's Jennings, she has Akers-Stahl with it. Carin shot, it's goal! Carin Jennings gets 2 goals in the first half, and it's 2-0 USA. Oh my, Rick, we are seeing some incredible shots.
Randy, that's absolutely mind-boggling. To hit the ball in the goal from that distance away is a twofold problem. Number one is, you see as Carin shoots the ball here, it's got to be accurate. Secondly, is it's got to have the power to beat the goalkeeper. And look at the distance on this shot. Given the space to shoot, she says, well, thank you very much. And just buries the ball in the upper corner of the goal.
What a perfectly placed shot by Carin Jennings. She has both goals. That was her 24th international goal for the United States. It is 2-0. Shot from long distance. Routinely headed away. Now another opportunity, but cleared away by Julie Foudy over to the far side. 2-0 USA. Carin Jennings with both goals. And now this is Foss. And Foss runs into a tackle initiated by Linda Hamilton. And now a corner kick coming up for Germany, and this is their first good dead ball situation here in the first half.
And Randy, this is the type of situation that Germany needs. Their attack is in shambles. They're generating absolutely nothing. A set play gives them an opportunity to get something going.
A short corner pushed into the box and cleared right back out again. Ostermuhl. Miscommunication there, and Jennings is superwoman. She's doing it all, clearing that one from in front of the box. The Germans, nice turn there. This is Wiegmann. The shot blocked, handled by Christine Lilly, and now a shot by Germany just sails over the crossbar. That one had a chance. It was headed for that top left-hand corner, but it'll go out for goal kick as number 13, Bindle, works her way back up the field.
Randy, I think that particular play was cross all the way out in the corner of the box there. I don't know, maybe the German team was taking a little bit of a lesson from Carin Jennings in terms of where you can shoot from, but I think that ball was intended to be a cross to the back post.
One has to think they were looking for Heidi Mohr, who has been silenced thanks to the outstanding offensive play of the United States, and here they come again, only to have it broken up. Mia Hamm heads it right back into the mix. Battle for the ball along the near side, and it'll go out. And a throw in now for the United States.
Randy, one of the things that we see the German team having have done thus far in the game is to try and intimidate the American players, playing an extremely physical game, but it's not working at all. The American players are just taking it in stride and doing what they do best, and it seems like they're just totally dominating every aspect of the game. Defensively, they're very organized. Offensively and through the midfield, they're moving the ball up the field very, very well. Germany needs to regroup themselves and try some different things here if they're ever going to generate everything.
Jennings plays a sharp ball back for Foudy. Back ahead for Akers-Stahl. She is body checked by Nardenbach, who gets a warning from the referee Imperatori out of Chile. And we're going to get another free kick here. And Michelle Akers-Stahl, who hit the post last time, is going to crack this one again. You can bet on it.
Randy, she struck a ball as we get to see the tail end of the foul there. Simply just tripped her from behind. She struck the ball and missed the goal by just a couple feet from about 10 yards further back. Now she's another 10 yards further towards the goal. There's no question about it. I think she's thinking shot all the way.
Marion Isbert has to be wondering what's next, and this one is too high by Akers-Stahl. She tried to get that one to dip down, Rick. What happens when you kick it too high like that?
One of the things that you're trying to accomplish on that is to simply get the ball by the wall. There she did, but she never ended up hitting the ball up high enough on the center line in order to get it to dip once it gets over the wall. Otherwise, the ball just ends up sailing, as we saw that one did.
The United States leads Germany 2-0 as the Germans with a little trouble in the back getting that ball out as Akers-Stahl was up to pressure. But all the pressure, for the most part, has been exerted so far by the team in the blue. A team that many regarded coming into this tournament as the team to beat, although the Germans, along with a few others like the other finalists who won earlier today, Norway, also highly regarded, not to mention the host team, China.
Well, certainly one has to look forward to the final game, regardless of which team makes it through here, although certainly from the United States perspective, they're looking awful good.
Norway beat Sweden today 4-1 in that other semifinal. And here comes Ostermuhl for Germany. Trying to dribble her way to the front of the box, gets by one person, now the shot, and cleared out of the middle. And Akers-Stahl will push it ahead. This is April Heinrichs. Heinrichs puts it by her defender. She'll try and catch up to this one, but feeding her to the ball is Nartenbach, and clearing it to Isbert.
Good solid play there by the German defense. Not only do you defend with the person that's playing against the player with the ball, but you also provide support. Get in behind the person so that if, in fact, she does get beat, in that particular case, number 4, Judah Nardbach, was able to come back defensively and play the ball back to her goalkeeper.
Mia Hamm out of Burke, Virginia, called for the foul there. Mia has been a busy worker in the midfield for the United States so far in this game. Germans on the attack. This is number 5, Fitchen. She leaves it for Wiegmann. Wiegmann in the middle. And look at that swarming American defense. 4 players around the ball, able to clear that out in a hurry. Now it's kicked back toward the goal unintentionally. Germany putting on a little pressure here in the first half as it comes out for a throw-in. Wiegmann. And that one hit her hard. April Heinrichs was trying to clear it. And number 8 for Germany, Bettina Wiegmann, is down and hurt. We will pause. It's the United States 2, Germany nothing. We'll be back in China in a moment.
What some people won't do for the most refreshing taste on earth. Always keep plenty of Coca-Cola Classic on ice. You never know who'll drop in.
Bettina Wiegmann from Germany getting treatment over on the other side. This is how it happened.
Yeah, Randy, we didn't get a clear look at it there, but no question about it. She simply got the ball dead center in the stomach, got the wind knocked out of her. And they're, I think, just simply trying to give her an opportunity to catch her breath so that she can stay on the field without having to go out. And certainly wait for the referee to signal her back in before she can re-enter the field.
Wiegmann only 20 years of age, as you see Gero Bizanc, the German head coach. And it looks like Bettina will be all right. She's already played 20 games internationally at the age of 20. All cleared up the field by Julie Foudy. Played to the far side by Paul. This is Moss. There could be a whistle in the crowd that we're hearing periodically. And it's fooling the players from time to time. Fooling us, too.
Actually, I think it's doing a better job of fooling us than it is the players. As a player, Randy, you really don't hear that much. You know, the things that you do hear are when the crowd is cheering, especially when they're cheering for you, and in turn when they're booing. And hopefully they're booing the other team rather than you.
The Germans trying to get something going here. The United States leading 2-0. Jennings trying to send it up for Akers-Stahl, who's too far behind the ball. A collision in the midfield as Carla Worden went up and came down hard on number 7 for Germany, Voss. She's all right. That was a real banger of a play. These women are playing very aggressively. It is really all or nothing in this game. You win, you go to the World Championship. You lose, you play for third place, which isn't a lot of fun.
And the consolation game is often a very entertaining game for the fans because both teams kind of relax a little bit, play very wide open soccer. But based on the way that this tournament has gone thus far, we've seen some great soccer with all the pressure of the important games coming as well.
Nice job by the Germans, and now the kick saved by Mary Harvey. And number 13, Bindle, just hit that one the outside of her foot. Didn't really get enough on it to fool Harvey. She would have to have that higher and deeper if it was going to drop in behind Mary.
Good solid play by Mary there, as this being only her sixth full international game. Very often it's the most difficult thing for a goalkeeper to have happen, where you're not really doing that much in the course of the game, and all of a sudden the ball comes in front of you. If you don't rush out and play it the way she did, it's a scoring opportunity that Germany might capitalize on.
Mary Harvey, interestingly, as the ball goes out, played in the German Damen-Bundesliga, as they call it, the German women's first division, back in 1988 when that league first began. She played at SSV Frankfurt, originally out of Los Altos Hills, as we mentioned. 26 years of age and a goalkeeper of the year in the past. And this has got to be the biggest game of her life, as it is for all these American women.
And as I understand it, she has a contract with that club team. We got a brief look at some of the FIFA delegation that's here. As I understand it, Mary will return, has a contract through 1992. I wonder what that might be like, going back there and seeing some of the girls, depending on the outcome of this game.
Throw in now for the United States, Carin Jennings, who has both goals in this game so far. They came at the 9:26 and 21:18 mark. With the ball there, but it's taken away. This is Wiegmann. Burton back. Playing it up the middle, taking by Julie Foudy ahead for Akers-Stahl. Akers-Stahl, nice turn back into the inside. Plays it back for Foudy. Good tight defense, though, by the Germans, and it turns the ball over. Burton will get it back at center. She'll hammer this thing, and the offside flag comes up as April Heinrichs is called. And we'll get a free kick for Germany.
Randy, one of the rule changes that FIFA has adopted in the game worldwide is a change in the offside rule. And I think one of the problems that you have is that it's such a subjective rule anyway. There's so much opinion involved in deciding whether a person is in an offside position or not, that it's a rule that I think will forever be controversial.
Fitchin. Knock, a chance for Jennings. She's got two. Here's Carin in on goal. Score! It's 3-0, and Carin Jennings has done it all. Rick gave us 3 straight goals.
You look and you talk about punishing a team for the mistakes they make there. An errant pass across the back line of the defenders. Carin Jennings, so much composure as she has space and time here, waiting for the goalkeeper to commit, waiting for that opportunity to shoot. Goalkeeper never does commit, and she slots the ball into the lower hand corner of the goal with the inside of her right foot.
We are in the first half, and the United States leads Germany 3-0. All 3 goals by Carin Jennings. Ball back in the U.S. end of the field as we are back underway, and Germany has its work cut out for it now. Ball cleared over the line off the foot of the American defender. Will get a corner kick. But first we'll pause. It's the USA 3, Germany 0 on Sports Channel.
Most guys kick back on the weekends. Jack, on the other hand, so how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Tomorrow,
we're sleeping in.
Here comes the corner kick for Germany. The United States leading 3-0. They play at top of the box. Now to the far post side. A shot cleared in front. They score. Wiegmann, and it is 3-1.
Randy, defensively, the United States team never adjusted to the previous corner kick that they'd seen the exact same thing happen.
Check that. It's Heidi Mohr with the goal, number 9.
Corner kick here. We don't actually get to see movements played to, but clearly the player is simply knocking the ball across the mouth of the goal to other players to run on to shoot. And here we see the pass coming across in front of the goal. I believe that's number 13 for the German team. Laswitha Bindel, who played the ball across the mouth of the goal back the other way for Heidi Mohr to tap in with her heel into the goal.
Heidi Mohr, who we talked about, that's her 7th goal of the tournament, and it's now 3-1 as the goals are coming in bunches here in the first half. There's Carin Jennings with another steal. Here's Jennings looking for support. She'll cross it from that far side right out in front, and right there was April Heinrichs. What a ball by Jennings.
Carin, I don't know if she's having the game of her life, but boy, what a job she's doing. They're showing her ability to set up goals as well as score them, crossing the ball from the left wing, right on the money, but taken away from the German goalkeeper before April Heinrichs could have a chance to head the ball goal-bound.
That goal by Heidi Mohr does change things, though. Back to a 2-goal lead for the United States. And we'll see how much confidence Germany can draw from that. But they've got a lot of work to do defensively, Rick. They've been just giving too many opportunities to Carin Jennings on turnovers down in their own 18-yard box.
Absolutely. You never want to defensively cough the ball up or turn it over in your defensive third of the field. Twice they've done that, and twice the United States team has made them pay for it. If they keep that type of play up, this could be an incredibly long night for them.
You saw the time left. We are under 5 minutes remaining unofficially in the first half. We will play a 40-minute half. U.S. leading 3-1. Here's Akers-Stahl. She'll play a ball in for April Heinrichs. And Akers-Stahl with a nice job there to make that appear as if it would be a shot. And I think April had a little trouble bringing it in and had a little more pace on it than she had hoped, but I think it was a pass all the way.
Yeah, if it was a pass, then it was certainly a little bit too much pace. I think actually it was probably more in line with a shot and a difficult ball to hit when it's rolling across your body, going from the left side to the right where you're trying to strike it with your right foot.
Shannon Higgins up for Heinrichs. Heidi Mohr will cross it over to the far side. There will not be much of a race here as Mohr misplayed it. And a throw in for the United States with number 8 Linda Hamilton there. And now comes to Carin Jennings. Here's Jennings working over the German defender, showing her speed. And then it's kicked out by the defender number 15, Christine Paul. And that will go out for a goal kick. Carin not too pleased with the call by the linesman as she looks or glares over to this side, wondering how could I have been tackled and the ball go out like that and have it go off the defender, or have it go off me last.
And worse than that, Randy, is the linesman all the way on the opposite side of the field shouldn't be making that call anyway.
Heinrichs still pushing that ball forward, even laying on her back. Isbert for Germany. 3-1, the United States leading. We're in the first half at the Guangdong People's Stadium in Guangzhou, China. What an exciting first half. Action-filled. And Heidi Mohr trying to work that back to her midfield. Has it go out.
Randy, the American team doing such a great job at putting pressure on the German players all over the field, not only waiting until they're on the attacking end of the field, but putting pressure on them in the midfield part of the field and certainly in their defensive third of the field, and they're causing their team to cough the ball up and getting some good opportunities as a result of it.
Mohr goes up. So does Biefeld for the United States. Here's Akers-Stahl. And a pass there intended for Lily. Chance in front for Jennings, who just about got her fourth. And the crowd gasping here every time Carin gets near the ball, and with good reason. Check that. That wasn't Carin. That was Christine Lilly.
Yeah, and a little bit
of ponytail fooled me. Here's another turnover, and Akers-Stahl had a chance. Now the Germans running into each other at the top of the 18-yard box. And we've got a couple of players a little banged up. They have to be a little frustrated too right now, trailing 3-1. You can hear the buzz in the crowd, Rick, and they are talking about this United States offense. Every time they get near the 18-yard box, look out. Heinrichs, and it's cleared off her foot and out of play for a throw-in for Germany. Check that. They're going to give it to the United States. It must have touched off Heidi Mohr last. Thrown into Mia Hamm. She volleys it up the middle. Taken there by Foudy. Foudy works it far side for Christine Lilly. Lilly 1-on-2. Lilly trying to push it by the defender and catch up. Obstruction will be called and get a free kick. Yeah, it's going to be throw in. I thought there was an obstruction there. It looked like a bump from here. Look from behind the German goal, and that is Marion Isbert. And she has had her hands full so far in this first half. The throw in by Jennings to Akers-Stahl. Michelle cuts it back into the middle. Coming out of the midfield is Shannon Higgins. Her shot is blocked. Another drive by Foudy. Still the loose ball in the 18-yard box, and it'll be cleared out. Look at the diving header there. Comes back over to Akers-Stahl on the far flank. Back through the middle. Isbert is up and has it. What a show the front line for the USA is putting on. Carla Worden trying to cut in front, and this will roll out. I'm running out of superlatives, Rick. It is so thrilling inside and around that 18-yard box for the United States. They are absolutely outstanding in this first half. And there's a great throw in. Bad defensive mistake. In comes April Heinrichs trying to cut it in. This will go out for corner kick USA.
Randy, actually a little bit unfortunate there for the American team because it was a great throw-in, but it seemed to catch everybody by surprise with the exception of number 2, April Heinrichs. She got the ball down to the end line where she really had to cross the ball, and unfortunately none of her teammates were there to receive the cross, and therefore she ended up having to try and play it in an uncharacteristic situation where it didn't end up getting towards the mouth of the goal.
Jennings far post. Up goes Akers-Stahl. Still inside the box. We get a whistle as Michelle was about to wind up. And we have 2 German players injured inside the 18-yard box as the foul goes against the United States. And one of them is going to need some treatment. It is number 5 for Germany, Doris Wiegmann. And they're going to bring the German trainer on now as we get another look.
Here we get to see the battle for the ball in the air. The ball almost goes straight up. And then as the play continued on, the referee blew the whistle right about the time that Michelle ended up going to shoot the ball. And I think number 5 for the German team, Doris Wiegmann, we'll get a look at it here, tried to block the shot and ended up getting her leg twisted so that it ended up hurting her knee. Here the ball drops down to the ground. The whistle's blown, and then there's the collision there where the ball ended up hitting off the end of her toe.
I think she might have got kicked in the knee by Akers-Stahl, who was trying to follow through and take a shot there. That may have been what happened because Akers-Stahl was called for a foul on the play. Either way, Wiegmann down and getting treatment. She's a 23-year-old veteran of this team. At that young age, she's already played some 30 international matches with 8 goals going into the tournament for Germany. And she's going to stay in there. These ladies are tough, Rick.
They're tough, they're talented, they're exciting, they're enjoyable to watch. I certainly hope and certainly think at the same time that in the future we see a little bit of an encroachment.
And now Isbert, the German goalkeeper, getting upset as April Heinrichs came in to that area between the goalkeeper and defender to try and pick off that pass. Boy, they are not stopping. They are going right down to the wire here in the first half as we're now into injury time, beyond the 40-minute played mark. Of course, we've had several injuries in the game. Akers-Stahl banged up early. Here comes the Germans late in this first half, trying to get back in this game. And Heidi Mohr, the shot, it is blocked inside the box and then smothered by Mary Harvey. And Heidi Mohr is showing some of her abilities inside that tight area of the 18-yard box, and there's the whistle to end the first half of play. And what an enjoyable first half of play, and what an impressive one as we look at that last chance by Heidi Mohr as the United States with a rare mistake of their own defensively. Mohr just colliding with the U.S. defender. As we go to the half, it's the United States 3 and Germany 1. A very impressive opening 40 minutes of play by the United States, and they are halfway to the first ever appearance by an American soccer team in a world championship. We'll see if they're able to pull it off in the second half, but they've got a great start for themselves, Rick.
A great start, and now what they have to do is try and keep themselves from falling into a lull where you have this artificial sense of security. You feel like you have won the game already. There's an entire half to go, so they have to come out and play with the same intensity as they did in the first half.
At halftime, it's the United States 3, Germany 1. You're watching the FIFA Women's World Championship of Soccer on Sports Channel America.
The toll-free number displaying now on your screen should be used to respond to the following.
This is an important message for U.S. veterans discharged after 1940. Whether you served during peacetime or war and are currently aged 30 to 69, call this toll-free number now for free, no-obligation information about a veterans-only term life plan at the guaranteed rate of just $1 a week. These veterans' life insurance benefits are guaranteed never to go down. There is no waiting period. Benefits are paid from the first day of coverage. Remember, only veterans, their spouses, and widows, ages 30 to 69, qualify for this $1-a-week offer. Don't wait. Call this toll-free number now for free information from Veterans Life Insurance Company.
The preceding was directed exclusively to veterans, their spouses, and widows. Please use the toll-free number to respond.
You still living with this nightmare? Over 1 million motorists have said never again. They've switched to Triple Edge, the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. And Triple Edge wipers won't tear, dry rot, or freeze to your windshield. They're made from DuPont Nordell, used in radial tires. So strong that if they ever fail, we'll replace them free. Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge. They're only $19.95 a pair. Custom fit to install in seconds. No noise, no streaking, no smearing, no tearing. They're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy.
Call toll-free 1-800-272-6500 or send $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Triple Edge Wipers, number 2 Morgan Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut. Please include your car's make, model, and year for the correct sizing.
Today's game is presented by Mars Milky Way Bar. Enjoy the smooth chocolate and caramel taste of the original smoothie. And brought to you by Adidas Equipment, the best of Adidas. Everything that is essential and nothing that is not. And by Budweiser. It's clean, it's crisp, it's cold. It's the king of beers. That's why nothing beats a Bud. And by the Coca-Cola Company and your local Coca-Cola bottler. Can't beat the feeling, can't beat the real thing. And now, the Budweiser Halftime Report, brought to you by the King of Beers. Nothing beats a Bud. Randy Hahn back in Guangzhou. It is halftime, and the United States is 40 minutes away, perhaps, from making it to the finals here in China. They lead Germany by a score of 3-1. Rick Davis, a very exciting first half of play. Women's soccer is absolutely thrilling. Anybody watching this who may have had a bad impression of the women's game before has to be totally turned around and convinced as we are. It is absolutely thrilling.
Oh, what an absolutely beautiful example of how attractive this game can be. The women, United States women, are out there. They're doing it all. They're scoring goals. They're attacking. They're playing solid defense. They're organizing the ball in the midfield. You could almost make a highlight video by just one half of this game.
The highlight video of the first half of this game, though, would pretty much be dominated by number 12 for the United States, Carin Jennings. And Rick, she had an absolutely brilliant first half of play. 3 goals in a row.
3 goals in a row, which I'm sure is Carin's absolute most fantastic dream. She scored the 3 goals. She's had an absolutely fantastic tournament. She scores goals by being composed, collecting and holding the ball, slotting it in a goal when the opportunity presents itself. She's also shown that she can score goals by shooting from distances away. You give her a little bit of space and she'll bury the ball in the goal from there. She's just done unbelievably well.
And she's also taken advantage of some bad mistakes by the German defense.
It's mistakes that are so costly, because when you cough up the ball in the defensive third of the field, chances are you're going to get burned, and Germany's paid twice for it, both at Carin Jennings' feet.
To their credit, the Germans came back with the late goal by Mohr, who is one of their all-time greatest scorers, much in the vein of Michelle Akers-Stahl's for the United States, and we'll see how much they can draw from that going into the second half.
Well, I think as far as they're concerned, they need to draw on it in any way that they can. It hasn't been a promising half for them. The fact that they were able to get a goal is certainly a positive aspect of things, but now what they've got to do is really reorganize. They have to kind of come out here, start the game almost as if they haven't played yet, although what they've got to do now is they've got to come back from a 2-goal deficit.
This has been the Budweiser Halftime Report, brought to you by the King of Beers. Nothing beats a Bud. Rick Davis, as we head to the second half now, a thought on what Anson Dorrant's team will do coming out and what the Germans might try and do to counter this awesome American attack.
I think from Anson's perspective, what he's doing is probably reminding the girls of a similar situation they were in earlier in this tournament. They were ahead 3-0 against Sweden going into the second half, and as a result, they ended up kind of letting down a little bit and almost got burned by that. I'm sure he's reminding them of that, but I think he's also saying to them, you're doing a great job, and just keep it up.
Stick around, the thrills aren't over yet. We'll be back with the second half in a moment here in China. The World Women's Championship of Soccer on Sports Channel America.
He's a man's man who knows what a woman likes.
I'd like more.
He's the one and only Bogart.
He's looking at you, kid.
Call this number now and enjoy a nostalgic look back at one of Hollywood's all-time biggest stars in this extraordinary video library, the Bogart Collection. Get Humphrey Bogart in all his classic films.
Hip, hip, hooray! I'm a private dick on a case. Spade. S-P-A-D-E. You haven't got nerve enough to pull the trigger while I'm looking you straight in the eye.
Begin the romance with Casablanca. For the introductory price of $9.99, keep this story of love and intrigue, and another Bogart movie will follow every 6 weeks at the regular price, each in a deluxe collector's case. Don't miss the fabulous Bogart Collection from Time Life Video.
To order your Casablanca video, use your credit card and call 1-800-841-0300 or send just $9.99 plus $3.23 shipping to the address on your screen.
Introducing American Road, a great new collection that hits you where you live.
Americana. 18 wheels and a dozen roses. Smoky Mountain Rain keeps on rolling. The bluest skies in Texas. Lord, I ain't been home in years. Got the highway 40 blues. Now I know it's a long, hard road.
American Roads features 40 great hits. It'll make you feel good. Here's how to order.
Call toll-free 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100. Or send $19.95 for 3 LPs or 3 cassettes, or $24.95 for 2 CDs plus $4 shipping to American Roads, P.O. Box 4670, Omaha, Nebraska, 68104.
Randy Hahn and Rick Davis back in Guangzhou. The second half underway. United States leading by a score of 3-1. Teams have changed ends now as the United States in the blue defending the goal to our right and attacking right to left. Shannon Higgins back for April Heinrichs. Now Biefeld playing it up into the midfield, looking for Akers-Stahl. And Akers-Stahl appears to be shaken up again away from the play. Back comes Germany. Up for Heidi Mohr, bouncing a little past her. She takes her tumble. And Carla Worden able to work it back for Mary Harvey. Harvey with not a lot of work in that first half, Rick Davis, and I'm wondering if that may be a little disadvantage. She could be a little cold.
It's a difficult thing for a goalkeeper because not only do you have to be ready to make a save at any point in the game, but as the game wears on and you haven't been that active, it's difficult to be ready. Be at your absolute best to make that type of a save, and so she's going to have to keep on her toes. Certainly she's experienced enough that I don't think that she'll fall asleep, but it's a difficult thing for a goalkeeper to do.
Jennings driving it off the leg of Kuhlman, and that will come in for the throw-in. Jennings with 3 goals in the game in a row, so I guess if you want to be exact, the perfect hat trick as she hits it in consecutive goals, a natural hat trick. Here's Jennings, and this one will be kicked out, and they'll give it the other way this time to Germany.
I think Carin trying to kind of influence the referee's decision there by very casually putting her arm up as if the ball were hers and trying to influence the referee such that he says, yeah, I agree with you and give her the ball, but he wanted no part of that and gave it to the German team.
They'll throw it in again. as Fitchen. Collision off the ball. And unable to control it is Christine Lilly. And the Germans gradually working their way up the field, step by step, on 3 consecutive throw-ins. This toss by Kuhlmann. And a nice job. Good skills there shown by Christine Lilly, the chest trap, and then volleying it up the field. Unfortunately, turning it over. The Germans setting those high balls in now from center, Rick, as opposed to earlier when they were mounting more of a short pass up the middle technique. And I'm wondering if they think that might be the only way to break down a tough United States defense is to send some longer balls across the field.
But Randy, not longer balls across the field like that one. As we get a brief
down
look
the field, though.
Right, as we get a look at some of the disappointed German fans in the stands there. I think what they're trying to do is simply find a way in. The goal that they did get came off of a set play. You're not going to get that many set plays to score goals, and being down by 2 with only a half to go, or as time ticks away even less than that, it becomes incredibly important to establish a way that you can get through the defense that you're playing against, and then simply just try and expose it each and every opportunity you can.
Germany in the white and trailing by 2 goals. But on the ball as Akers-Stahl all the way back there kicks it out. What is Michelle doing playing defense back there, Rick?
Well, I don't think Anson wants her back there too often, but it's certainly a fine example of the different aspects of the game that all players must be able to master. It simply is not an offensive game if you're a forward. It's a game that you have to play both offensively and defensively, and Michelle doing the business at both ends of the field there.
Fitchen kicked it out. Otherwise, Jennings is on her way down the left side again, and that is a dreadful thought, I'm sure, for the Germans, whose coach, Daryl Bissans, I'm sure was fearful of this kind of first half. As you look at the American fans, and we saw in the midst of them there, Jim Gabera, the former national team member. He was one of those that you just saw in the crowd there. His fiancée is Carin Jennings. He's got a lot of things to be grateful for in this first half. She's been outstanding.
Well, actually, Jim ended up playing in a game just prior to coming down here, and he himself had a hat trick. So maybe hat tricks are running in the family, so to speak.
An omen of what was to be as Jennings sends one far side of the box. You know she was looking for Akers-Stahl. Wasn't quite able to reach her. Foudy had some trouble with it. And the United States tracking it down again in the midfield. Now here's Foudy, 11, turning on the defender, playing it up the left side for April Heinrichs. Heinrichs playing some of the best soccer of her life right now, says Anson Dorrance. As Foudy sends it back to the defense. Joy Biefeld chipping it up the middle. Akers-Stahl taking it outside of the foot and then turning. Akers-Stahl with people running for her. This is Foudy tripped up front of the box. No foul.
Oh, that's a shame, because I think it was a clear foul there. What a great little pass there, because the United States team had several players breaking through, and Michelle waited for the one player that was the most wide open.
We are at the Guangdong People's Stadium in Guangzhou, China. Second half now as the United States tries to keep the lid on the Germans for 35 more or so minutes and move on to the final of this first ever World Championship against Norway. Norway defeating Sweden earlier today in the other semifinal by a score of 4-1. Here's Jennings, short tap, trying to get it up to April Heinrichs. And now April slipping as it goes out of play, but she'll get the throw in.
They're just tenacious all over the field. I can sympathize with the German players because I've been in games like this where you feel like you're playing against 15 players rather than just the 11. And I think from their perspective, at the end of the game, I'm sure when they look at the videotapes and analyze what happened in the game, first thing that they're going to do is count to make sure that the United States only had 11 players out there, because not only are they attacking in numbers, but they're also defending in numbers.
Carlo Worden hammered that one up to Akers-Stahl. Now Kuhlmann for Germany. She'll send it deep the other way, but Worden's going to be back there. You know she will. She is the steady fixture on defense for the United States, and not a speed burner, but she gets the job done back there. She plays tenacious defense and really holds it all together in the back.
And that's such an important role for a team to have, an important player. You look at all of the great teams over history. The German teams had a guy by the name of Franz Beckenbauer anchoring his team in that capacity. The Brazilian team had a guy by the name of Carlos Alberto. putting everything together and rarely being caught off guard there.
Here's Jennings. Nice touch to get it inside. Now she'll go back outside. Here's Carin inside the box, and I think the foul's going to go against her this time. The defender had position, and Jennings went up the back. And we will have the restart quickly as the German player still down and trying to stretch out of a cramp in the 18-yard box as you see Jennings away from the play. Here's how it happened.
Carin racing through the goal and just simply gets beat on a physical race. Physical speed there. Defender ends up getting between her and the ball, and their legs get tangled up. She ends up getting called for the foul, and the ball goes to the German team.
But Carin, as we saw there, as you look at number 9 for Germany, Mohr, who has their only goal, Jennings showed some great foot skills there, cutting that ball inside, going back outside, the darting moves, the type of things that, as Dorn says, shreds defenses, and she showed it there.
Well, she's got a little bit of a nickname. I don't know that she's embarrassed if I mention it on the air, but Crazy Legs Jennings. And she gets her legs going so fast and doing so many different things that when you try and defend against it, you're not sure what you're supposed to be kicking and trying to stop.
Right now, she's got Isbert, the German goalkeeper, and the rest of their team going crazy. The hat trick for Jennings. United States up 3-1. Akers-Stahl goes up over the defender, and that's going to be another foul against the United States as she steps on Fitchen. This second half starting not unlike the first, a little bit scrambly in the way it's been played up to this point. But then all of a sudden the United States broke out of it. Here's Germany coming back the other way. This time back defensively is Joy Biefeld, and she'll get it to Mary Harvey.
Joy is doing such a great job in keeping the major threat for the German team out of the game. They're on a very dangerous type of play. She very composedly knocks the ball back to her goalkeeper and basically nullifies another opportunity for the German team to get in the scoring column of this game.
Biefeld from Huntington Beach, California, as we have a collision in the front area of the 18-yard box. That's Julie Foudy. And we're going to have a substitution coming up here for Germany. And coming out of the game, well, first we'll look at this. As you see, the foul inside the 18-yard box, and then Foudy landed right on the German player. And now the substitution coming out for Germany, number 16, Gudrun Gottschlich. And going in will be number 11, Beata Wendt. So a change by head coach Gero Bizans here early in the second half. He obviously wanted a little more than he was getting to start the second half.
And it's actually the only substitution that we've seen in this game, best I can tell, at this particular point. And certainly in that case, it was to bring on an attacking player, although as it was, she ended up replacing a forward. I'm sure it's just trying to get somebody else that can figure something out and get themselves free to try and score a goal.
Like the men's game, there are 2 substitutions allowed, so Germany have used up half their tactics from that standpoint. Ball cleared back to the United States goalkeeper. I'm not sure why the offside flag came up. I think the linesman on this side is a little confused as if to suggest the United States was attacking its own goal. And he sort of apologetically gestures to the referee on the field, although with everyone here from FIFA, including Yao Havelange watching, I'm not sure how they'll be impressed with him.
And one of the criticisms for the Men's World Cup that they had about the referees is that all of the referees were field referees, not linesmen. And it's not so different than refereeing, but the roles and the calls that you're required or asked to make are different, such that you very often aren't in a position where you're calling offside.
Jennings comes in hard. Boy, does Carin play hard, and that one comes out of play for a throw-in. Jennings a little shaken up, but she'll just jog it off. Here's Shannon Higgins. She goes in hard. Slide tackles the ball into some open space in midfield. Banging away at it is Foudy. But now the Germans come forward in numbers. This is Bindel, 13. She'll turn it over momentarily as it goes to the far side. Nice interplay there by the German midfield as we see them go back to more of a short passing game. Now the crossover to this side, and that's intercepted. Comes to Jennings. Ahead for Akers-Stahl. She runs into a body check by Paul, number 15. And Germany with it defensively again here in the second half. 3-1, the USA leading. This is the semifinal for the World Championship of Women's Soccer, the first ever being staged here in China. One of the rare World Championships of any kind that this country has hosted. particularly here in Guangzhou, and they are very excited about it. Here's Akers-Stahl, and she tries to straddle that line and keep that ball in, but it does roll out of play for throw in. We'll take a break. It's the USA 3, Germany 1. Back in China in a moment.
So I'm doing my sound check.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I hear this woman's voice.
Crunch that last chord. I'll show you.
She grabbed the guitar.
And then she started rocking. No, I mean rocking.
You're pretty good. Not.
Someone that hot deserves something this cold. Suddenly, I remembered this was a butt spot.
I like your style.
What some people won't do for the most refreshing taste on earth. Always keep plenty of Coca-Cola Classic on ice. You never know who'll drop in.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, and Madrid. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan. As the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Adidas Equipment, a new line of performance footwear.
Randy Hahn and Rick Davis back in Guangzhou. We hope you're enjoying our continuing coverage of the Women's World Championships. Here's Michelle Akers-Stahl. Nice ball ahead for Carin Jennings. Jennings in on goal. Shoots, and it's blocked. Rebound. Jennings again, cutting it back. Looking far post. They score! April Heinrichs on the feed from Carin Jennings. It's 4-1. That may be enough. What a brilliant job by Carin Jennings, who first is stopped by Isbart and has the presence of mind to dribble her way out of trouble.
Randy, this is the tail end of the replay here where the shot has already been stopped, and we see Carin Jennings playing the ball across the mouth of the goal. Here we see Carin receiving a pass which started the whole play. Michelle Akers-Stahl sending it through. All alone on the goalkeeper. The initial shot was saved. Carin follows up, controls the ball, plays the ball across the mouth of the goal to a wide-open April Heinrichs, and she volleys the ball into the goal with her left foot to put the United States ahead 4-1.
April Heinrichs from Littleton, Colorado gets her first goal. The captain of the United States team, as it's played back to the middle by Germany. So 4-1, the United States now leading as we are still relatively early in this second half, but that was a crushing type of goal as the referee collides there with Julie Foudy. He ought to call himself for obstruction.
Referees often find themselves in some awkward positions in the game, but as the rules say, the referee is a part of the field. And if you bump into the referee or if the ball caroms off the referee, it's no different than it had it been otherwise. Here we get to see Carin Jennings' first shot, saved with the left foot. Now she very composed, hangs on to the ball. All the German players run to play back in the goal. And Carin sees April wide open. And April, nice little touch on the left-footed volley to put the ball into the goal.
April Heinrichs now with 3 goals in the tournament. And that will give her 35 career for the United States. Ball in midfield. Played up to center for Jennings. Heinrichs with a touch on it. And Germany just clearing it back defensively, trying to get organized, but every little error, every little mistake is a potential scoring opportunity for the United States. They have been relentless in seizing the opportunities presented to them by the Germans. Here's a rush upfield by Germany, but look at Carlo Worden play the angle perfectly and then just step in front of that attacker for Germany, number 6 Kuhlmann, and it's out for throw-in.
I think Carla on that one knew where Kuhlmann was going before she did. She was back in a defensive support position and simply waited for her to try and dribble by the American player there and very calmly stole the ball away from her.
The Germans not getting the bounces either. You saw there they attempted to just drive it off a American defender, just hoping for a corner kick, and it even went the wrong way then, as it's played out by Jennings on the near side for a throw-in for Germany.
Randy, I'm a firm believer in the way you play, you make your own breaks. Luck is something that you use as a crutch. That you say, oh, we had bad luck when things didn't go the way you wanted, but you end up making your own luck, and the American team is certainly making everything happen in their favor this evening.
4-1. They lead this semifinal over Germany. As it's cleared back to Mary Harvey. Wonder how this will be received in Germany should the United States go on to win, Rick Davis. Of course, women's soccer is not at the sophisticated world level yet that the men's game is, but there will be some eyebrows raised back in Europe when the result of this one is over should the United States prevail.
Well, Randy, we only have to look as far as the commentary booth next to us, which is taking commentary back live to Germany. They seem to be a little bit more quiet than you and I are.
Rather subdued as we try and keep the level of enthusiasm up here in the press box without bragging too much. But the United States gives you a lot to brag about in this game as they have dominated. Hamilton with the throw-in. Another high blind pass by the Germans. Back the other way, they try and get it to Akers-Stahl, and Michelle using her size there. Called for the foul. She indicated that she was grabbed from behind. Michelle is 5'10" and plays at about 150 pounds, and she is likely one of the more imposing figures on the field for either team. There's a steal by the United States, taken by Christine Lilly. Lilly has Jennings with her, tripped up. Carin after it now as it comes off the leg of a German midfielder and back out for a throw-in USA. And they are starting to pay a lot of attention to Carin Jennings, or a lot more than they were earlier, but I'm not sure if you can really do that. You leave Carin open, or leave her with 2 players on her. You leave somebody else open like an Akers-Stahl or a Biefeld or a whoever. Michelle trying to head it forward. April Heinrichs there, but it's cleared back to Isbert. Thrown out the far side as Germany needs some goals, and they need a bunch in a hurry. Down 4-1 here in the second half. This is Fitchen. Fitchen with the dribble. Kind of slowing things down. There's another turnover. Jennings has got it again. This time she kicks it into the defense. Akers-Stahl grab. Play goes on. They give advantage. Here's Akers-Stahl tripped up from behind, and we are going to get a free kick as Michelle was hammered. And we also get a yellow card to Fitchen, who didn't impress me, Rick, with the way she dribbled the ball out after or before, and didn't impress me with that.
Yeah, there she's simply doing what is called in our sport a professional foul, taking a player down intentionally as they're moving towards the goal. With the ability that Michelle Akers-Stahl has, you got to watch out. If she's anywhere within 30, 35 yards of your goal, she's in scoring range.
Well, she's in scoring range. She's about 26 yards out, we'll call it, 25. Akers-Stahl over the ball. Michelle, number 10, runs the dummy, and the shot taken, and it is high and wide by Christine Lilly, as I guess they want to spread the wealth around a little bit here, and also, of course, if they can, deceive the Germans somewhat.
Yeah, a little deception here. Michelle running over the ball, trying to get the German wall to break up and have to pick her up. Also trying to catch the goalkeeper a little bit off guard. All of the other previous kicks, about 4 by my count, Michelle has taken. That one she let go, and Lilly was able to take a shot and try and score.
Foudy laying it off, and the shot is out of play, and we'll have a goal kick for Germany. While we have an opportunity, we'd like to thank our colleagues from Guangzhou Television here in Guangzhou, China, for providing tonight's pictures, which you are enjoying. And we hope you're enjoying our ongoing coverage of the World Championship of Soccer. Germany now set to make their second substitution here in the second half. And coming out of the game will be number 3, Birgit Austermuhl. And into the game, number 2 for Germany, Britta Unzleber. So Unzleber takes her spot in the midfield for the Germans, as a defender is replaced with a midfielder, and obviously the coach Bizans needs a little more offense, and he needs some people a little more skillful with the ball right now. They need goals, but here's another turnover. Jennings back over to the left side, cut back to the far post, and almost put into their own goal by Germany as Nardenbach cleared it very near her own line as Christine Lilly got wide down the left side. She was looking back through the middle, probably for Akers-Stahl or Jennings. Nobody there this time.
Yeah, she's looking back across the middle. That's a case of typically when you're ahead by several goals, as the American team is, you don't shoot when you should, because I think Christine would have done better off there to go ahead and take a strike at the goal by herself.
That's Jennings leaning up against the camera here, and she wants a little relief from the officials. She gets it as she bends this one toward net, and banging up in the air was number 13, Christine Lilly, with Isbart, the veteran goalkeeper for Germany. The Germans work it out to midfield and try and get something going here. They trail by a bunch, but here's Voss. Voss clearing it back over to the other side. Out comes Harvey. They score!
Randy, something we haven't seen the German team do all game long. Once they get the ball, don't wait for the American team to set up. This play actually started by the goalkeeper for Germany, clearing the ball out. Here we see the tail end of the play after a couple passes, linking the ball forward. The last pass right there just out of the reach of Carla Worden. And then the nice, simple tap in for the goal. Great goal by number 8, Wiegmann, for the German team.
Bettina Wiegmann, 20 years old, scores the goal for Germany. And it is a 2-goal game again, 4-2 the score. We are approaching the midway point of the second half. Here comes Germany again. This one's not over. Jennings pushing it forward after the whistle, and a foul called against Germany.
One of the things that happened in the American team's game against Sweden is that they got themselves a comfortable lead and then seemed to simply change the way they play.
Wiegmann again, this one blocked. Shannon Higgins playing a bad pass in the midfield, really, for Jennings, trying to send her on the run. I guess every once in a while they take that gamble, but it's a closer game again, 4-2. And there was a lot of open space back the other way if the Germans stole it immediately. Here's Higgins. She'll play it up for Akers-Stahl. Michelle with her back to the goal, now turns around. Off the ball, a run initiated by Christine Lilly as it's cleared out over the near side and right to the USA bench.
One of the things that the United States team needs to do, Randy, here is not take chances going forward. Control the ball, take the air out of the ball, as they say, and allow the clock to work in your favor.
The German fans, and you can hear them really getting behind this team. High ball played into the box, volleyed out, as we have a German player down away from the play. But play goes on as Akers-Stahl sends it to center, and now the Germans kick it out so that their teammate can get some relief right immediately in front of us. While the German trainers come on the field, we pause. It's the USA 4, Germany 2.
You old smoothie, never treat me rough. So smooth and creamy, never get enough. One little taste, forget about the rest. Mars Milky Way, you're my happiness. You old smoothie, melt my heart away. The original smoothie, Mars Milky Way, make life a little sweeter.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, and Madrid. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan, as the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
What some people won't do for the most refreshing taste on earth. Always keep plenty of Coca-Cola Classic on ice. You never know who'll drop in.
I have a confession. I have no idea how to choose a long-distance calling plan. I don't have to. Sprint does it for me. They keep track of when and where I call and actually let me know which calling plan will save me the most money. They do all that just because I'm a Sprint Priority customer. And I thought it was because I was their spokesperson.
Roswitha Bindel down on the field for Germany and getting some treatment from their training staff. 4-2, the United States lead here in the second half. As Germany has really shown some tenacity, Rick Davis. They were hammered by Jennings in the first half with 3 unanswered goals. Heidi Mohr comes back. And they've battled for another goal here in the second half. And there you see number 13, Bindel, making her way back up. Of course, she can't leave now, or she could, but if she did, they'd be down by 1 player. Germany's used both their substitutions in the game. And even if somebody's hurt, you can't use a sub if you've used yours up. Jennings playing the looping ball up for Akers-Stahl. She tried to head it down, but she grabbed onto some jersey, I think, spinning off that defender, and the referee, Imperatori, saw it and called it. Turn back over, and here's Jennings again. The Germans getting a little more aggressive with their play, and that time borderline on the vicious side as Foss is called for the foul. Very little retaliation, though, ever you see from these women, even on nasty fouls.
Yeah, you actually very rarely do you see it, which is great. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's a male-female thing, but guys tend to retaliate a whole lot more. And
here's a chance for Heinrichs far post. Good footwork there by the German defender Unsleber, and working it to Isbert, the goalkeeper. Germany pecking away here and trying to stay in their game and trying to stay what got them here. If you joined us late, Germany swept its group with 4 straight wins to get to this point. Jennings from behind, she got all ball, and that's why you won't get the foul called there. You could hear it as she just kicked the ball from the defender, who then fell. So now the throw in near side for Germany. That one went off the arm of Kuhlmann. It was not called. Higgins trying to steal, but the United States will get it back and up to Akers-Stahl. Michelle, whose husband runs a goal-scoring camp, and she's obviously a devotee, as it comes back to Isbert.
And one of the things I think we're seeing here is a little bit of the lack of experience that the United States teams have when they play internationally. Instead of taking the air out of the ball, controlling the tempo of the play, not getting themselves involved in hard, dangerous tackles where you could lose a player for the final game should they advance to injury, they aren't doing that. They're raggedy trying to play the ball around. And Michelle ends up getting a yellow card there on a questionable call, but they really shouldn't find themselves in that position. They should be trying to play smart, not physical and getting themselves into battles and so forth. They have a 2-goal lead. That's plenty. They don't need to score any more goals. What they need to do is just simply let the time run down and keep the ball out of their goal.
You referred to the Sweden game, which began this tournament for the United States. They led 3-0. Eventually won at 3-2, but Sweden pounded the goal right down to the final moments. Here comes the United States on the attack again. Mia Hamm tripped upside of the box. She tried to buy into a foul there, maybe even a penalty kick. Nothing doing, as the referee Imperatori said play on. The Germans starting from in the back. And it's interesting, Rick, how the style of the men's teams from the more sophisticated soccer nations like Germany and Brazil spill over onto the women's sides. A lot of similarities in the way they build up an attack. It is their national style.
Yeah, very much a cultural thing. The Brazilian teams tend to use the ball and play it around with so many short, quick type of passes. The German team tends to be very direct, but very structured in the way that they're trying to move the ball from the midfield, although we haven't seen much of that today. And then in terms of the American team, which is still in many ways trying to establish a style, tends to kind of typify the European aspects of the sport a little bit more in terms of controlling the ball, but relying very much on speed and athletic ability in the way that they do play.
I think the style of this team is all out. That's how they play it. Akers-Stahl trying to send it up the left side. She'll get the loose ball and now looks for Heinrichs running off the ball, but then shoots it near post side as we have a look there at Akers-Stahl and another injured German player. They'll bring it to center. And a foul called against Linda Hamilton. And now they will bring the German training staff back out onto the field to attend to the injured German. And we're going to have considerable injury time tagged on here at the end. Just trying to pick up a number there and see if we can determine just who that is. They got the magic sponge going there. Been a very physical game all evening long. And of course, when you play for a semifinal and a chance to play in a world championship, you can expect that. Christina Paul is the injured German player. This is maybe a look at how it happened.
Just a bone-crunching tackle there, very fair by both players. Although it looked like Christine Lilly, number 13 for the United States team, in the process of following through after the tackle, ended up getting Christine Paul's stomach with her knee.
Again, the Germans have used both their substitutions in the game, and one can only hope that she'll be able to continue. I think she wants to come over to the sideline and maybe catch her breath. Now, she can re-enter the field of play, but only when brought in by the referee, and she's not even going to leave. And she gets a round of applause from the crowd here in Guangzhou. There's Paul, and she's going to hang in there. Back underway. And here's Joy Biefeld, who has scored one of the 4 American goals here tonight, her 3rd of the tournament. And a free kick now for the United States with the foul called against Germany.
Here we get to see a little example of the United States team taking a little bit more time. The clock is a continuous one that the referee keeps. The only time he stops it is for injuries and substitutions, or if the ball goes out of the field of play, meaning out of the field and up into the stands, that type of thing. And so they can waste a little bit of time by taking their time on free kicks.
Soccer being the unique game that it is relative to other American sports, very little coaching can be done once the game is underway, except for the halftime break and the occasional injury timeout like we saw when Anson Dorrance could shout some instructions out to his team. And one of those might have been, hey, let's slow it down a little bit, let's burn a little clock, and let's make the Germans work a little harder to get their goals. Here's Shannon Higgins. Turns it over. Back comes Voss for Germany. Voss up for Heidi Mohr. Heidi Mohr in on goal, and Mary Harvey with maybe the biggest save of the game as she grabbed that off the foot of Heidi Mohr. And now Harvey is injured, and Mohr is slow to get up.
Well, here we get to see on the replay just a little bit of a collision. Mohr's right leg as she's jumping over. Harvey ends up catching her head. Ouch. That'll make you feel bad for plenty of hours after the game. We get a look at Heidi Mohr, the player involved in the collision.
There's Mary Harvey. She's tough. She's already up. Heidi Mohr hit her head so hard with her foot that Mohr's leg hurt her. And they're checking Mary for abrasions, contusions, or other. And she just shakes her head and says, play on.
Good little piece of goalkeeping there by Mary Harvey for the American team. Coming out there and scooping the ball up, getting it in her grasp, and nullifying any further opportunity that the German team Mohr might have by allowing the ball to roll on the ground.
Here's Carin Jennings, and see the difference in her approach there as she turned it back to the midfield to buy a little time rather than going all out and down the field. And you're right, Rick, the Americans have changed their tactics here somewhat in the mid stages of this second half, and they're willing to burn a little time off the clock. And they'll get a corner kick now, or will they? Now they're turning it the other way and calling it goal kick.
That's one of those cases of it being 6 of one, half a dozen of another. By changing the way that they played, the American team isn't playing as effectively as they were in the earlier parts of the game. On the other hand, if they don't change the way that they play, they were attacking with numbers in the first half. That could cost them here because they don't need to score any more goals. They need to defend.
You saw Akers-Stahl there collide hard with Kuhlman. And while the tactics may have changed, the ferocity that they're playing with has not. Higgins, or check that, Jennings trying to work it up to Heinrich. There's Lilly hammering it, and now Jennings will just play it into the 18-yard box, and his part will pick it up on the run.
At some point, I think what we're going to see here is that when Anson is a little bit more comfortable, the coach of the United States team, with the way that the game's going, he's going to start giving some of his players a little bit of a break. I don't think he's that comfortable, certainly not that confident at this point, because he's leaving all of his players out there.
Julie Foudy back through the middle. Heinrich scores! April Heinrichs to make it 5-2, her second goal of the game. And that was lightning quick as the United States makes a great play here. Julie Foudy setting it up.
Julie Foudy getting to the end line and then crossing the ball back in front of the goal. April Heinrichs getting herself open. She runs towards the goal and very calmly, inside of the foot, taps the ball into the open part of the net. That's a dose of medicine that any coach, as we get a look at the American team, will say, I'll take all of that I can get.
It is now 5-2 for the United States, and we are well into the second half of this World Semifinal in China. As April Heinrichs has scored her second goal of the night and fourth of the tournament. And the Chinese people here at the People's Stadium in Guangzhou are enjoying a tremendous performance by both teams, but the United States dominating the game as they have come back again following the German goal. Now cleared into midfield. Here's Jennings. She's pushed down. And Carin now holding her head as she went hard into the turf. The German player Kuhlman offering her hand to help Carin up. Carin didn't see it, and now she'll get up on her own. We're not sure how much time is left, but unofficially we are probably about 6 or 7 minutes away, and then of course we may have some injury time after that. Chance for the United States again, top of the 18-yard box. Foudy with it, but it's cleared out over the far side, and we will have it on a throw-in for the United States. How confident are some of the fans here? Well, some of the Chinese, not those ones, but some others at corners of the stadium are starting to leave. This is like a Dodger crowd. They want to beat the traffic. Akers-Stahl clearing it. I guess they get into those terrible bicycle traffic jams, and all heck breaks loose. Out of play, and we'll have a throw in. There's a look at some of the dignitaries from FIFA. That's Xiao Hamelange in the dark suit with his hands in motion there. He is the head of FIFA and a man very instrumental in bringing the World Cup to the United States in 1994. And that is an event we look forward to with much anticipation, as we have for the past several months to this one. The first ever World Championship for women. This will be repeated again in 4 years, scheduled for 1995. No site selected yet, but based on past tradition of FIFA, they will move it around to another continent, perhaps to Europe for the next one, and who knows, maybe sometime soon into the United States. South America would be a likely candidate as well for the next Women's World Championship. Here comes Germany again. Here's Heidi Mohr, and that's cleared away by Carla Worden, who continues to play very tenacious defense for the United States, who now lead at 5-2. Shannon Higgins chipping a pass over center, and all the American players behind the halfway line now, as they are content with the 5 goals they have. Should another opportunity arise on a counterattack or whatever, they'll certainly take advantage of it, but right now they'd like to protect this 3-goal lead. It's an advantage which may be insurmountable for the Germans. Akers-Stahl getting a touch on that. It will be a German throw in, but Michelle showing her desire in the way she played defense there. Kuhlman, and turned over once more, but no one on the left flank. Akers-Stahl had retreated back more to the middle. Now the United States battling as it's brought back upfield by Julie Foudy. Foudy, the long ball up the left wing for Heinrichs. Heinrichs with a breakaway. April Heinrichs in on goal, shoots, and she miskicked it. Oh my, she tried to chip Isbart. As you look at the United States bench and Anson Dorrance on the right of the screen, how disappointed can they be? Well, not that much. April's had a great night with 2 goals. She just tried to take advantage of Isbart, who had ventured way out of the 6-yard box, but just miskicked it into the hands of Isbart. Meantime, back comes Linda Hamilton, tied up by 2 defenders on the near side, and then kicked by Foss. And it will be a foul as Foss apologizes, and Hamilton bears no resentment as she moves back into a more typically defensive position, and Shannon Higgins will initiate this free kick from right in front of the German bench. Higgins from Kent, Washington, a veteran of some 49 international games for the United States. This time it's headed out. Jennings, who scored the first 3 goals of the game after it there, but she'll be called for a foul as she brought down number 11, Wendt. And we anticipate a whistle within 5 or 6 minutes. There will be injury time added to the second half, as at least on 3 or 4 occasions we had stoppages in play. But the United States in excellent shape right now to advance to the World Championship. Ball up for Akers-Stahl, and that will go back to Isbart, the German keeper. Amazingly, no American team ever has played for a World Championship in soccer. There have been semifinalists, but never a finalist. And if this score holds, it will be the United States against Norway for the World Championship in a rematch of a 2-game series from earlier this summer when the Norwegians were in the United States on tour, as both were preparing for this upcoming World Championship. And Norway took both games from the United States, winning in New Britain, Connecticut, and then in Medford, Massachusetts. So the United States 0 for 2 this summer against Norway, and that will most likely be the matchup in the World Championship. And that will pose some interesting problems for Anson Dorrance and his team. Germany battling to get it over the halfway line right now as the United States is defending in numbers. And there's a missed kick by Kuhlmann as it comes out of play on the near side. Stay with us immediately after the game. We'll go down to field level, and Rick Davis will join us with an interview of our star of the game tonight. That's coming up immediately following the conclusion of this match between the United States and Germany. One could only hope that one day, on the men's side, it'll be the United States and Germany playing for a semifinal. Maybe not too far away, as the American men's team just wrapped up a great 1991 calendar year, making the most progress and improvement that they have ever made. All of it coming with a new coach, Mohr Milutinovic, and they could take a lesson from the women, as it's cleared out by Joy Biefeld. Throw in now to the near side. Germany trailing 5-2 and battling here just to get the ball near the 18-yard box. Cleared out again. Now a chance for Germany. Played up the right side. Crossed back through the middle, but intercepted there by Joy Biefeld and cleared out of play for a throw-in for Germany. Wiegmann had a chance, but she passed back through the middle. Here she is again trying to drive it along the end line, but that one will go out for goal kick for the United States. And we are now into extra time, injury time, here in the second half, with the United States seemingly on its way to the World Championship. A 3-goal lead, a hat trick for Carin Jennings, 2 goals for April Heinrichs, and just an all-around outstanding team performance. The odd breakdown or two, and the Germans, to their credit, took advantage of those, but the United States has had just too much for Germany on this evening. Ball out, and a U.S. throw-in. Anson Dorrance has not even made a substitution, and there it is. The United States has won it. The final whistle. It is all over. There's your final. The USA 5, Germany 2. Celebration, jubilation, but some of it a little restrained by the United States and their fans, because there is still one more game to win. A World Championship final, and the USA will play for it all against Norway for the World Championship. A brilliant performance by the United States. Carin Jennings leading the way with the hat trick. April Heinrichs with a 2-goal performance. When we come back, we will visit with our star of the game here in Guangzhou, China. The final score, the USA 5, Germany 2. You're watching the first ever Women's World Championships of Soccer on Sports Channel.
Here's an opportunity to receive a free copy of William F. Buckley's historic Agenda for the 90s.
When you get National Review, you'll have news and opinions you don't find anywhere else.
But I think you know that National Review is my favorite magazine. It's my favorite because it's splendidly written, brilliantly edited, and a pleasure to read.
It's informative, probing, persuasive, and challenging. It's serious and it's entertaining. I think it's terrific.
I like it because it cuts through the nonsense that normally surrounds most political issues with simple, common sense. And of course, I love the humor. It's a very funny magazine.
Yep, no other magazine gives you what we give you, guaranteed.
Call this toll-free number now, and we'll send you absolutely free and with no obligation this copy of Agenda for the 90s. For a trial subscription to National Review for only $24.95, call toll-free 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100.
The fascination always existed. The human body, without doubt, is the greatest of inventions. Flawless in design, capable of astonishing feats. Amazingly, the harder the body is worked, the stronger, more beautiful it becomes. To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer Soloflex. 32 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance. All on a machine that fits in the corner of your home. Soloflex, simple and efficient, like the body itself. Which may explain why it looks less like a machine and more like a work of art. For a free brochure, call anytime.
Welcome back to Guangzhou, China. The dejection of the Germans, but the celebratory mood of the Americans. The United States has beaten Germany 5-2 to advance to the World Championship. Let's go down to field level for our star of the game and Rick Davis. Rick?
Well, thank you, Randy. I'm joined down here on the field by two of the players which, and certainly of the scoring column, had the most significant impact on the game, that being Carin Jennings and April Heinrichs. And I guess certainly if you divided the game in halves, two of them had outstanding individual halves in terms of the scoring. And I guess for starters, Carin, if I would have told you a year ago that you would be playing in the semifinal of a championship game and that you would end up having 3 goals in the first half, what would you have thought?
I would have thought it was a dream come true, I think.
You would have thought it was a dream come true. What did you think in terms of the ease which the ball seemed to find you because of the pressure that you were putting on the German team?
Well, that was something we discussed in the pregame, is to high pressure their team. Because they are good, they're strong, and they're very good on the ball, so we thought if we high pressured for 80 minutes, we could get a few.
Do you ever remember a game where you seem to have as much time as a result of a turnover, where certainly as the way the goals developed, you ended up having so much time and so you were so composed as you walked towards the goal to take your shots? Do you ever remember that type of situation happening at this level?
Not for a long time. At this point, I thought it was in slow motion or I was offside or something. I don't know what happened.
What do you think about the final? Would you argue with me if I said, let's see Carin Jennings scoring another 3 goals in the game coming up on Saturday?
I never argue with you, but Norway's a great team. We just played them twice in the States, and we didn't beat them either time, so it'll be a tough challenge for us.
That's going to be a tough challenge, certainly for a number of reasons. You've had a couple difficult results with them. April, in terms of the upcoming game, what do you think your chances are, and are you pleased that you're playing against the Norwegian team?
Well, I think the nature of athletics is that anything can happen in a final game, and that's what we're looking to do, is just make things happen. As far as us playing Norway, I think it's a great rematch for us since we just recently lost 2 games to them. We certainly have motivation going into that game, and we're looking forward to it already.
Part of what we ended up seeing tonight was April Heinrichs finding herself in front of the middle of the goal as a result of a couple nice plays, one through Carin and the other one, I think it was through Joy, who ended up crossing the ball up through the middle of the field. Is that a typical position that you find yourself in, and can we expect to see you there in the game against the Norwegians?
That was a problem Anson identified we were having in the Taiwan game, as we weren't getting near post. I joked with my teammates after the game that I was a nightmare tonight. I gave up the ball every time I had it. I played well defensively, and I scored 2 goals. So I think if you walk off the field feeling like a nightmare, but you still have 2 goals, well, then you say, hey, let's get on to the next game.
Well, I was going to say, if you felt like you had a nightmare, I can't imagine what it was like for the German team that finds themselves on the end of drudging in terms of the way the game went tonight. Well, congratulations to both of you, and good luck in the upcoming game.
Thank you.
So the United States is headed to the World Championship for the first time ever that an American team will go. They win it by a score of 5-2. A 3-goal effort for this woman, Carin Jennings, as she had a brilliant day and also set up Joy Biefeld for a couple of goals of her own. The United States will now meet Norway in the final, and we will bring you that on our continuing coverage of the Women's World Championship here on Sports Channel. For Rick Davis, I'm Randy Hahn. So long from Guangzhou, China. American Airlines is proud to be the official airline of the U.S. women's national team and of the first FIFA Women's World Championship. American Airlines, something special in the air.
How'd you like to make a bet? If you like living it up in places like Atlantic City and Las Vegas, I bet this Players Club card will save you big. In places like the Sands, Atlantic City, and the Riviera, Las Vegas, up to 60% less on hotel rooms, 50% less for shows, and always 25% less for meals and drinks. So call Players Club now. Players Club, it's a sure thing.
New members get 2 free nights in Las Vegas or Atlantic City when the club books their flights. Call toll-free now.